Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
All well, Mukesh. Just give me a second. Aditi, Shraddha, we are ready.
Yes, Akash.
So what I'll do is I'll start the webinar at around 10:59,
Okay.
and post that we'll just give people about a couple of minutes to join and get settled.
Mhm.
And then I'll start off with the brief introductions and
Yeah,
then hand it over to you.
sounds good.
We'll start the webinar now.
Sure.
Sure.
I'll share the screen after you introduce me.
Hi, everyone. Just wait a couple of minutes while we start this session with Mr. Mukesh Jain. As more people are still joining, thanks for your patience. All right. So I hope I'm audible to all of you. If I am, kindly put in a yes into your chat or Q&A box. That will help us to know if there are any audio issues. Am I audible, everyone? Yes. Okay. All right. Is everyone able to see the chat? Because I'm not seeing too many yeses here. If not the chat, probably in the Q&A. Yeah, it's there. Okay. All right. Use the Q&A one to communicate right now. Yeah. All right. Great. Thanks. Thanks a lot. I see the yeses coming in. Okay. So hi, everyone, and welcome to this masterclass and session on data science for leaders by Advancer and delivered by Mr. Mukesh Jain, the CTO and Vice President at Capgemini. Just to give you a brief introduction to Advancer and Mr. Mukesh Jain, initially, allow me a couple of minutes, and then I'll hand over the session to Mr. Mukesh himself to take you through for the next 45 minutes to an hour on this very, very insightful topic. So what's the agenda? So initially, let me give you a brief about who we are. What is Advancer all about? So Advancer is one of India's top edtech platforms, which focuses on building new age technology skills for people around the world. So be it people who are new to technology areas like data science and AI, or those who are already working in these areas but want to upskill and reskill with the ever-changing and fast-changing new technologies coming in, we are the go-to platform for that. We are one of India's top and one of the most well-reputed data science and AI training institutes, as borne by the hundreds of positive feedbacks and testimonials that we have received from our students. We are affiliated with well-known and renowned institutions and organizations such as IIT Kanpur, IBM, UPS, Coursera, and Edology. These are all our partners in association with whom we deliver our programs and training sessions. Advancer is part of Global University Systems, which is a billion-dollar leading global higher education powerhouse, which owns institutions and universities around the world. Over the duration of the last several years, we have proudly trained over 15,000 individuals and hundreds of companies in this field of data science and AI. And today, all of them stand testament to our capabilities in terms of training people in this field. We have been rated as one of India's top 5 data science and AI training institutes by well-known organizations like Analytics India Magazine or Analytics Vidya. I am proud and very happy to introduce Mr. Mukesh Jain to you, who is with us today to deliver this session. Mr. Mukesh is the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer, VP, and Global Head of Innovation at Capgemini. He has over 27 years of experience in the industry with collaborations with industry legends like Bill Gates and Mukesh Ambani. And he has led global teams, delivered very, very innovative R&D products. Some of them possibly we are also using today, and made a lot of contributions to the world of AI analytics and products at companies like Microsoft, Geo, and Capgemini. He's also an author, he's a coach, he's a techno-biz global leader, and foremost an educationist who has a lot of pleasure in sharing his knowledge with all of you here too. He is also a recipient of multiple awards, such as the Technology Leadership Award by Economic Times and the Top 25 Most Innovative HR Tech Leader in India Award by Times of India Ascent. Mukesh, anything you would like to add to your introduction, feel free, and I'll probably hand over the session to you right now. Maybe you can share your screen and start off with this very insightful session on data science for leaders. For everyone here, my request would be to hold on to your questions till the end of the session when we open up the floor for Q&A. Till then, do sit back and gain all the knowledge that Mukesh has to share today.
Thank you, Atash, for the wonderful introduction. I'll share my screen now. So Atash, I've already given my introduction. It's been 27 years in the industry, and one thing, as Atash mentioned, that we all are using the products. Now I had an opportunity to contribute, which includes Outlook. I'm sure a lot of you are already using Outlook in your workplace in sending and receiving email, and of course, Geo on the other hand of it. I had the honor and opportunity to work with Bill Gates, and that time in 1999, that was the first AI algorithm of Microsoft written by me, and that was to catch junk email. So if you are getting less junk in Outlook, you can thank me for that. And then after coming back to India about 12 years back, I decided to continue my corporate life while my heart always lied in teaching. But right in India, there was a difference of zero. So I decided to continue in my corporate life and started teaching at IIT, IIMs, and multiple places, including partnership with Advancer and a couple of other institutes. Published 2 books, and I'm writing my 3rd book. Hopefully, I'll get time to finish that part. Why are we here? Today, the masterclass is focused on data science for leaders, how we as the leaders can use data science. All my years of 27 years of experience, right? Several years I was hands-on, and fortunately or unfortunately, somebody will make me a lead. After a few years, I'll become a hands-on and all. After coming back to India, I no longer had the luxury to become an individual contributor again, because India has a slightly different culture. So I decided to take on the vice president and the CTO roles. But hey, I still do hands-on, by the way. I still write code. Current business landscape. We all have choice. Pretty sure, right? When you planning to go to the airport or the railway station or some other place, when you try planning to travel, you try to take out your mobile phone and try to book Ola or Uber. And imagine it is showing you circles. How many seconds are you going to wait? Can you put that in the chat window or the Q&A? How many seconds you are going to wait for an app to respond to you? Put that in the chat on the Q&A. I'll give you some response, some perspective about how that really works. And that's a normal behavior, right? We don't wait forever, but we do wait for some time. Let's see. So I see several responses, and the responses are 6 seconds, 30 seconds, and all. So Ankita, your answer, no, sorry, QICI. I don't know whether about the QI. So your answer is probably more correct. I see 30 seconds. Ankita and Thamin, you have a lot of patience, right? I need to learn from you how much to wait for that. But normally in India, it is 7.2 second average. Mumbai is about 5.5 seconds. So some of you have given the right answer. Not even a second. Ankita, you are a lot less patient. I don't know how you manage it for less than 1 second. I don't think anything is possible to come in less than a second. Anyway, 7.2 second. If the app does not respond to you in 7.2 seconds, you are going to move to another app. The same thing is 4.4 seconds for US and 2.2 seconds for Japan. If such a level of patience level is there, but the main important part is why? Why? That is because the expectation is anytime, anywhere on any device. We all have grown into this zone now. Yes, people are born native. They have a lot more impatient than what we are. Again, I'm not too old, by the way. So this part of expectation have changed significantly. Now, what happens? Our apps, it could be Flipkart, Amazon, Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, you name it. All the app expects us to be able to understand how things are happening. Let me give you an example. About 2 years back, when I was returning from Paris, I landed at Mumbai airport. Pandemic had just died down and there was some open and I had to travel. I landed at Mumbai airport around 2 a.m. in the night and I was trying to book Uber. Uber was showing me 700 rupees to go to Lower Parel. I said, that's too costly. So what I did was I went to Ola, 450 rupees. Perfect. I booked Ola and left. Within few minutes, I get an SMS from Uber saying that Mukesh, you tried to book, you did not book. Can you give a feedback? Sure. Click on the feedback. I'm always ready to give feedback. Give the feedback. The question was only one question: why you did not book? Price was too high. Uber was taking too long. Your baggage did not arrive. You went with a friend. Price was too high. That's it. Within few seconds, I get another message saying that apologies for the inconvenience. And few seconds later, here is your 300 rupees coupon for the next ride. I say yes. I got some discount here. How did Uber came to know that I left for the airport? Third point, analytics to understand usage and innovate. I had my Uber on. My location was on. My location was moving. Uber knew that my intent was to book it, but my location was moving, which means I am either walking or I have left it. Lost opportunity. I specialize in lost opportunity. I'm a typical Marwadi from my birth and my upbringing and all, right? But of course, I decided to do a job with that mindset about how could I tap into the lost opportunity. So this part is lost opportunity. So now the person who have written the algorithm would have thought about it. Hey, the person is leaving the airport. There's a lost opportunity. Can we at least get the understanding of? Okay. Once we understand the usage, you will be able to innovate. Because when 7.2 second, when Ola was taking 8 seconds to load, 10 seconds to load, you don't call them and tell that it is not working fine for you. When the price is high, you don't call them and say, hey, price is high, I'm not going to buy from you. You just abandon, you just move on. That's the reality. If organizations have to compete on analytics, we have to do this. And we as leaders, our role is to make sure we understand the expectation from 3 areas. Our leaders are the ones which are more challenging here, by the way. 3 areas: our customers, our employees, and more important, the business. We as leader, if we don't understand any one of them, even a small fraction, we are going to be in trouble. So as a leader, it's important for us to understand and set expectation so that we can drive more business value by keeping our employees happy and at the same time, customers keep coming here. Right? So that's the current business landscape. For that, there's another slide which talks about Cano. Cano was the statistician who suggested that over a period of time, things move into one direction. This is the old slide, 18-year-old slide. Some of you may remember this phone. Must-have features of a phone is make and receive a phone call. That's what supposed to do, right? But now we don't do that. We do a lot more than that. But at that time, 18 years back, the delight factor was, wow, you can do email on the phone. The reason I kept this old slide is for you to be able to understand that these things have changed drastically over a period of time. And there are something which are like must-haves are right, but there are something which are more. Or dikhao in Amazon ad, right? What is it? It is actually telling you, I want more memory, more RAM, more screen size and everything. Even iPhone, where Steve Jobs said, no, I'm not going to have a phone which is bigger than the thumb movement, right? But then you saw what happened, right? Even that came up with a big form factor, competition, innovation. And that doesn't dissatisfy. What Kano suggested, the innovation expectation, everything will become must-haves and things become innovative. This is a one hour class. I'm just going to give you an overview about that. But these are some of the area when we start drilling into, we want to understand how can we use data science to be able to understand what is next. You don't call the company and say, hey, I want this innovation. You just abandon or you just use it. So innovation, companies have to do it a lot more on their own. Data science is incomplete without data. I want you to write in the chat window or the Q&A, what do you think a data scientist do? And I can tell you, you'll be surprised to see the answers, by the way, right? We have some misunderstanding and misconception also, right? So let's hear from you. What does a data scientist do? I see some responses already. Okay. You can put in the chat window or the Q&A window, whichever works for you. Okay. I see. Okay. Predict the future based on the data. Wow. Predict the future based on the data. Excellent answer. I like that answer. Analyze business requirement, because I'm sorry, that is not the role of data scientist. That will be the role of a business analyst. I'll see some more answers now. Okay. Maybe one more answer and then I'll move on. It will be more interesting if you start participating more, by the way. Okay. One more. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I got one more. Organize data. Okay. That probably is the role of a data analyst. So now let me tell you, each of the activity you do, it's all about data. Let me show you a slide there. Okay, 1 second. Q&A. Yeah. So what is data? Data is nothing but a qualitative and quantitative representation of measurements. Data doesn't come automatically. What you see in Excel or database or some other place, the data, it is a combination of qualitative or quantitative measurements. When you finish a Zomato order, you get an SMS or the email message. It says 1 to 10 rating. Number rating you give is the numeric value, which is your quantitative. And then you put a response saying that this is not what I wanted, it was too cold or too hot or whatever. That's your qualitative feedback. Both of them, structured, unstructured, are there. If you notice, we have text nowadays, we have videos, we have images, we have audio. All of those are unstructured data. Even the numeric data is unstructured to a greater extent. So if so much of data is unstructured in nature, how are you going to analyze it? 96.1% of the data, worldwide data, is unstructured, which means picture abhi baki hai, which means there are a lot more innovation can be done in this area to make some of them structured or analyze this unstructured data. Because whatever we do, activity and inactivity both generates data. You might have observed you are inactive on your WhatsApp since 11:02 a.m. India time. Okay, but you're active on this call, but not active on WhatsApp. Somebody trying to reach you will see 11:02, last seen 11:02. What does that mean? That's your inactivity. Most of the books you are going to refer will talk about every activity generates data. But I want to highlight, even inactivity can generate data, and that's where the ideas come in. We as leaders are supposed to tap into those ideas rather than thinking about a data scientist who is a 2 years experienced person. आप बोलो मुझे क्या करना मैं कर लूंगा. You tell me what to do, then I'll do it. I am using in Hindi also, by the way, but I'll translate immediately in English. The purpose over here is to understand intent. Can I understand the intent when I was doing certain things or when I was not doing certain things? Take an example of 2020. 2020, it's cricket for everybody, right? 2020 is cricket, but 2020 is a COVID year. 2020 is a book by Dr. Abdul Kalam, 2020 Parle Biscuit, 2020 iVision, and 2020 weight loss program in US. And if you are in UK, there's a talk show 2020. If 2020 has so much of meaning, how does Google know? How does Bing know? What are you searching for? And yes, the answer is not the current location. An American could be coming to India and say, I want to do 2020. And the person says, oh, play cricket first, or eat biscuit first. That's not right, right? The person is intended to see this his weight loss program out of US. So 2020 or any other thing where you are doing some activity or inactivity, the intent is more important. And whatever you do, it has to tie back to the dollars. It has to tie back to the business value. So that is all about data. So yes, your answer when you say you look at the data and then predict the future, partially it's right. But yeah, it's not about just collecting the data. It's not just about analyzing the business requirement. Data science, I would say, is still at a place where it is 70% art, 30% science. Art, coming up with the idea. The Uber example I gave you, it's a starting point, right? Nobody's going to, hey, let's do this, let's do that. There are 100 things people have done. You want to copy paste, do it. No doubt, that's not your innovation. The innovation comes in when you do one step forward, something new, something different. I'm going to talk about some of the latest innovation which are happening across the globe. And this curriculum, right? When people go through this training, they learn a lot of those parts, by the way, to how to do it. But at the layer of the innovation part is what is important. Again, data science, right? I tried to find the perfect definition of data science, and I could not. I could not find on ChatGPT or Google or multiple Wikipedia and everything. So what I did was I created some custom definition. It's a concept to unify statistics, data, informatics, combining them. When we are combining these things, right? What is the purpose? The purpose is to get more value from the data. Here, actual phenomena of the data. It's like this, right? You're so good. I'm sure all of you, when you learn more about this, right? You're so good. If you see the data, some patterns emerges for you. You're so good. If you understand the data, you start thinking, okay, I'm going to collect data here. I'm going to collect data set, and I'm going to use this data to take this decision. So if you start getting into that zone wherein you are always constantly trying to come up with ideas and everything, that's what it's for you. It's a use of statistical analysis, machine learning. There are a lot of statistics here, but people who are going through the course don't have to learn every statistics in detail. That's for PhD holders. If you're coming up with a new model, if you're coming up with the innovation in the data science field itself. But main focus over here is, as a leader, innovation in the business using data science. Algorithm to extract knowledge and insights from noisy, structured, unstructured data to uncover pattern. Uncover pattern. There is always a pattern in the data. You just have to find out what the pattern is and uncover it so that you can predict the future. Derive insight to make prediction from data to drive action and ultimately business value. We cannot do without business value. So there is a good overlap of data science on the business domain, okay, and the computer science part of it, and all of those pieces together, maths and statistics, all of them together brings you the final value. Okay, so there is some overlap between maths and computer science. That's machine learning. There's an overlap between computer science and domain. That's software development, so on and so forth. You will be able to see that. Okay. Now moving to the part about how does this really work. By the way, if you have questions and all, please put your questions in the Q&A section. I'll definitely answer them. In between, I'll answer some of them, and at the end, I'll answer all of them. The data science, the whole life cycle, it does start with business analytics, business understanding. So some of you gave this answer, understand business requirement. So business requirement is something somebody tells you, hey, can you please do A, B, and C? And if you just say, In Marathi, there is a phrase called Hoy Maharaja, okay, which means in English it says yes sir. Right? If somebody tells you, can you please do ABC, and if you just say yes sir and you should do it, that's given. That's a part and parcel of your job. But let's say if somebody says A, B, and C, and you say, hey, I'll do A, B, C, and C. By the way, you also need D and E. This is how the data can help you get even to F. And people say, wow, you are innovative. So understanding the business is the core part. You cannot just innovate without understanding the business. That's why the domain knowledge comes in very, very important. Today in the session, I'm going to also talk about some of the domain specific solutions. Okay. Then you start with data mining. My experience, as you saw, right, I also got some HR award also. I was stunned to see why I am getting HR awards. Okay. That's because sometimes some of the solution I did in HR analytics, now I'm also taking on the new role in Capgemini to lead HR analytics as well. So one of the element I was talking is I'm trying to predict attrition, and I want 64 data fields. When we looked at the data, we only got 4 data fields. And people say, oh, Mukesh, that's because you will not be able to work on it. I said, no, I'll start working with 4 data fields also. Data mining. Data mining is the technique when you are trying to understand the data and then derive some insight out of it. But sometimes when you're doing innovation, you may not even be collecting the data. So it's very, very important for you to know what you want, right? Always start with the existing data, but always keep an eye on, I want to have more data. Happy to say that we started with 4 data, now we have 24 data points. But somebody should at least tell, right? You cannot just limit your innovation on the available data. You have to start thinking about, I want more than that. Then comes a very interesting part, data cleaning. Unfortunate, but yes, very interesting, data cleaning. Most of the data is noisy. It has to be clean in multiple ways. When you go through training, you learn about all the cleaning part of it. Simple example I'll give, very, very obvious example. Okay, male, M-A-L-E, capital M, small M-A-L-E, right? Or 0 or 1. You could be writing this field of gender in multiple different ways. Okay, that's not what you really want, right? Those are some of the standardization can be done. Date format, international date format. Even today, I see several people still using India date format, right? It's not about India format or US format. I say, can we make it a global format? Instead of saving today's what, 10th of June, if I write 10/6, what does that mean? It means 10th June in India, but that means 6th of October in US. Same thing. But instead of that, why don't you do 10-JUNE? That's all about data cleaning. As a leader, we have to set that culture, right? Please don't use these. Please use the right. In one of the call, one of the intern I had, he used this sentence which says lakhs. I said, no, we are a global company. We don't use the word lakhs in a global calls. We use 100,000s, right? That's how you're supposed to do. Data exploration. Once you have enough data, what do? You explore. What if this? What if that? Try to mix and marry and all of those parts. And that's why I call it art. Why I'm calling this art? Because that is where it is limited. The innovation is limited on the exploratory ideas which you have. So more and more exploration you do, even better. Then you get into feature engineering. That's where the final science starts, wherein you say, fine, I have this part, I'm going to change it. A simple value like date can talk so many things. Right? Today is 10th of June. 10th of June is nothing but 10 June 2023. Only 3 values. At the max, somebody will say Saturday. 4 values. What next? It's the second Saturday, by the way. Right? That's something good, right? It's in the third quarter, the third month of the quarter, right? So we are nearing to the year end, right? Half year end. So all those things are additional value we are getting. Then comes the predictive modeling. Can we predict certain things? Predictive modeling is one important part to notice is historical pattern do provide good prediction. One of the example I'll tell you, I don't, again, I'm not trying to promote mythology or one particular religion here, but Pitama Bhishma in Mahabharata, okay, was able to see the future. And we also know he was the great mathematician of all time. Mathematics, future. Statistics, future. Data science, future. People who can do great analytics, they can predict the future of the business. So this is where the predictive model come into picture. That's why the more stronger you are in the algorithm, the better you are going to be in predictive modeling. And then finally, you also do data visualization. Storytelling. I can tell you, I was weak in this area for a long time until I realized I need to improvise and I'm able to do better in storytelling. So this whole cycle, the whole cycle of data science will actually help you take decisions and action. Only when you take decision action that has value, the business value it comes out of it, right? That's how it's overall. Okay. Now let me give you some real examples of the industry which you might be using it every day. Junk filter. 1999, I joined Microsoft. Within first few weeks, I was called in a meeting. Bill Gates. Not because of my qualification. No, at that time I had zero qualification. Just because I was the junior most person in the team, I was invited because Bill Gates used to have that philosophy there that any important meeting, they should have at least one junior most person and that need to rotate. So I had just joined Microsoft, 3.5 years experience total out of India, and I moved to US. Very few days, and wow, Bill Gates was sitting with Bill Gates. He was there, of course, I was at the end of the table. He was reviewing the document, and then at that time the PowerPoint was not there. He was just looking at the pages. He threw the pages on the table and said, "Where is the spam filter?" Our management said, "Hey, that's too complicated. We'll take another 2 years to build it." And he left the team. Microsoft left. Bill Gates left the meeting. Very, very interesting point. He said, "Give me 1 day and I'll code it for you." And he left the meeting. I went to my manager. पूछने में क्या जाता है? There is no harm in asking. I went to my manager. Hey, can I work on this? He said, "No, Mukesh, you cannot work on it. It's very complicated. We don't know what to do, but we'll decide." At that time, they came up with a solution which was looking at the keywords. Imagine if Bill Gates is getting 15,000 junk email per day. That's the biggest problem on his mind. The richest person at that time of the world, and so much of problem he's facing. Somebody need to solve that problem, right? But they were looking at the keywords. I said, can we look at the behavior? I'm going to talk about this algorithm in next 1 minute, and you'll be able to understand how data science can be so powerful. I focus on the behavioral science. Behavior. Just think about it. Are you going to read a junk email for more than 5 seconds? Are you going to delete an important email in less than 3 seconds? The answer is no. That exactly. The activity and inactivity generates data. I started capturing that data without my manager's approval. Of course, I was doing on my mailbox. I was able to come up with an algorithm to detect those and classify the mails and junk and email, junk and non-junk, test it out, work it out, deploy it to my team members. Everything was working fine. And then I found a solution. After that, it was deployed in Bill Gates' machine, 94% accuracy in 1 week. Problem solved. I'm sure if you're getting less junk in email because of this, you can thank me for that. There's several more examples in data-driven innovation. As simple as when you're searching certain things, like which ad should come up first. It was obvious that whichever advertiser is paying more money, that was coming first. And people were unhappy. I'm searching for certain thing and showing me diapers ad. I'm searching for certain things showing me some, let's say, matrimonial ad. It's wrong. Completely wrong. So I came up in 2007, 16 years back. 2007, I came up with the algorithm. We said, instead of focusing on those, let us understand what the intent of the person is, and then looking at the history part and so on, and give the ad which is more appropriate to that user. 16 years back, we started working on that. Also, you might have noticed when you book Ola and Uber, this is very recent, by the way. You might have seen once in a while you don't get a vehicle allocated. Too many requests, not many vehicle available. But do you understand the logic which goes behind that? It takes into consideration your cancellation history. It takes into consideration where are you going in that region after half an hour, predictive analytics, future. After half an hour, how much demand is going to be there in that region. So all of those things taken into consideration, they will determine whether the vehicle should be given to you or not, because you have a cancellation tendency of 70% compared to the other person who have tendency of 20%. Let's give it to 20%. And also it's not a factor of just the money. It's also a factor of how much time it's going to take to reach there. All of those things together. Same thing for the video app, right? Netflix, Prime, YouTube. Which video should be shown next? A lot of innovation goes into the area because they want to see how they can keep it engaged. About a year back, I was trying to watch some old song, 30-year-old song on YouTube. And I see the song, it was good, finished. I was too lazy to press the stop button or next button. It automatically got another song from the same era, 30-year-old. And they started playing those songs. It was just amazing. 1 hour, I saw that YouTube on that day. I'm sure they made a lot of money in advertisement as well. Why? Because YouTube business is all about stickiness, data science. Now, the leader who was managing the team, he would have thought about it. Hey, what can we do so that we can do better recommendation? Better recommendation, not when Mukesh asks for it. Better recommendation, autoplay, and Mukesh is playing, because the mentality would be, if Mukesh is interested in watching a 30-year-old song, let's give another 30-year-old song. Let's give another 27-year-old song. Let's give another 33-year-old song. And this was just continuing. Right? All these ideas and everything, some of the leaders need to facilitate those and allow the team to experiment. Demand sensing, understanding how much will be required, and so on and so forth. Right? I did one of this solution for recently for one of the stores in UK, a large store there. And we were able to come up with a part wherein for some of these items, and they were doing good business, but we were able to tap into lost opportunity and increase their sale by 12%, just by looking at those parts, how much to stock. What was happening was they were stocking certain amount, 10 item, 12 item, 15 item, and this should get over by 12 or 1 p.m. And then they would not know whether the business lost, because nobody will come and complain about it. And when we did some experiment, we were able to find it and fix that. And of course, why people leaving the app, right? So each of these area has the data science element. You might have also observed what you see in Notepad. If I want to open Notepad, you might have seen, if I do this, the menu item I see on Notepad are like this. By the way, these were exactly the menu item even for a lot of the Office application. See this? Change, right? Ribbon. This was done again when I was part of the team in Office. I came up with this idea. Hey, can we make it easy for people to get their task done? For that, the first thing I did was measurements. One of the things which you all have to learn about is all about measurement, the right measurements. So what I did was I started measuring how much time, what steps people take to perform certain tasks. Some of the tasks used to take as high as 7 steps. I said, can we do this part? Top 25 tasks, how can I reduce it across the globe, understand those parts, reduce it so that we can do the task completion in 1 step or maximum 2 steps. And you might have noticed, depending on what I'm doing on this, see, I click here, I see the menus are changed. I click here, the menus are changed. 1 or 2 click, you should be able to do. Now, 98% of the task is able to do it in 1 or 2 clicks. Okay, easy, all those this part, right? This is the examples here. Few more examples, and then I'll open up for a Q&A. Search. Ever wondered why the search results are blue in color? I was curious. I was asking why these colors are blue. The head of search, he said, no, Mukesh, these colors are blue because these are soothing to the eyes. Blue color represent trust, and blue also represent data. Okay, right answer. But why this shade of? So he was very interesting person. He said, Mukesh, I'm curious to know more about you. What do you want to? What are you getting at? This was in 2007, but so I said, I don't know, and I'm not an expert. I'm an engineer. I'm not an artist, or I'm not a visual expert. I just want to have a proof that this shade of blue is good. He said, Mukesh, we don't have a proof. Can we run an experiment? 10% people will be given a different shades. Total 10%, 10 people, different shades, 10 shades. We gave that. The current shade at that time in 2007, we kept it at number 5. 4 shades lighter than that, 5 shades darker than that. We ran an experiment to see which shade give us better click-through rate. Surprisingly, ninth, darker shade give us higher click-through rate, 54% higher click-through rate. Within 2 days, we change the color of the search link. This is the learning that sometimes you don't know what the answer is. You don't need to know. But with data science, we can enable those. And as a leader, that person, I really admire that person. As a leader, he was encouraging to run an experiment and see how this is going on. Right? And of course, this part of geo launch. When we were launching geo, I was working with Mukesh bhai, and I tried to understand how we can launch it. I'm not from marketing. The launch was supposed to be marketing team's responsibility. But I give an idea. Whenever you launch, can we keep a silent listening so that any activity or inactivity of the person can be understood? And more important than network coverage. Can we do the clustering and find out the density of people who are working or using the phone in certain area and see how the signal strengths are on your mobile phone? And you saw, right, when it was given for free, some of the data collection happened and the network was optimized. Every few days, few weeks, few months, you saw the quality was improving. Same reason, data science. We were able to do that with data science there. Here is something which I implemented recently at Capgemini. As you can see, very interesting one. So see this part, right? Certain employees will be able to see what are the things which will keep them. Again, this is for the group level, of course. Privacy protected, all of them. All the people who probably are going to stay in the company for long, people which are probably doubtful, but red color people are definitely going to leave. The probability of them leaving and so on, right? What are the factors for an individual which are positive in nature, which are like this person will stay if we increase this a little bit more? And what are the places where people are really, really frustrated and they're going to leave as soon as possible? So what can we do to optimize those? We call this tool called Keeps. It was built on a data science. Machine learning was used there to be able to see the pattern of people who are leaving and also tap into the market condition. This actually gave us very high accuracy. So now we are coming to the end of the session. I'm going to ask you for giving your ideas. What all the innovation can we do? And next, I'm going to talk about some of the latest innovation you might have seen happening around you in each of the domain. Okay, please put that in the chat window or the Q&A. Some example of innovation you have seen near you. One of the question I see is, what is a data scientist and data analyst? Data analyst is analyzing the data, gives you output. SQL is normally what they use. Python is normally what they use. They may use a little bit of data modeling. They may use a little bit of algorithms. Data scientist purely uses the algorithms and data modeling for forecasting. Data analyst does not do forecasting. Data scientist does do forecasting. Okay. What can we do in chemical business? I will talk about that also. Let me see if any other points are there. What do you think about data science industry in next 20, 30, 40 years? Asking from someone who just switched career. 20, 30, 40 years, it's too much. Earlier, people used to ask me questions for 5 years and 10 years. I used to give answer, but I even stopped giving answer for 5 years and 10 years. I'm giving answers for 3 years nowadays. Things are moving much, much faster pace. 1999, 24 years, 23 and a half years, let's say. 23, 24 years back, I did the first AI algorithm for Microsoft. At that time, people said, wow, this is the future and everything. But unfortunately, it did not move that fast. Now it's moving very, very fast. Let me show you some examples. In media industry, okay, I'm consulting a company. I cannot name them, but this is the where we are looking at the old scripts, a set of old scripts, and we are creating a new generative AI. A new script is being created there. We are looking at somebody who have probably passed away, a singer. Okay, we are collecting all those audio clips. Of course, we are going to take permission and everything from the respective owners of those parts. Get on owner audio clips, train the model, and then come up with a song. A new song can be sung by the person who do not exist. Okay, fake news detections, image. In India, a lot of challenges happen because of fake news, because of some of the social media posts and so on, right? And this is a place wherein some of the riots could have been prevented if we have this good monitoring on Facebook and WhatsApp and so on, right? This can be done with the deep learning and NLP. Deep learning is DL. BFSI, anti-money laundering. 2015, I was working for a company called Israeli-based company called Nice Systems. I built one of the solution over there as well, anti-money laundering, to be able to see the patterns of the things happening and finding out if the money laundering is happening. There's several money laundering cases we were able to catch because of this. Right? People who are in financial domain and so on, these are some of the very, very important part of your innovation. How can you think about money laundering? There are multiple examples you can use. Financial compliance, you can track, fraud detection, you can do, especially in the insurance segment where I've done a lot of projects and also done consulting. AI-based risk assessment, right? Can you do risk of a certain insurance which are happening, underwriting, or even claims processing, right? Is this claim really fake? Some of the images and all can tell you. There's a company in the US called Lemonade who have built this system wherein everything is automated, AI-based. So you take the policy, and then when you're filing a claim, you just have to speak to the camera, and looks like 98% accuracy they were able to give to detect whether it's a fake claim or a real claim, just based on the gesture and the experience and the tone and everything and all. Pretty good, I would say. Travel, autonomous driving, we all know about it, right? But have you seen those in action? Probably not. I have seen that in action when I was in US, but yes, it's not as popular right now, but it will come back. But again, AI-based driving aids, right? Vehicle nearby, or you are going to hit a bumper, all those things, slow down, all those parts about if you are drowsy, you are under alcohol influence, all of those AI-based solution can be done further there. I was also involved in some of the projects wherein AI-based visa processing. Some of the countries this was implemented, AI-based. So now when you apply for a visa, artificial intelligence will analyze this. You're looking at understanding your intent and also looking at whether you'll be able to do it or not. So as a leader, as a leader, each one of us would need to understand what are the solutions which are happening in this area and how can you create that culture for our employees to be able to use some of the techniques to build some solution there as well. AI-based facial boarding the flight was already active more than 5 years back. Okay, now in India it's also it's so possible, right? We saw DG Yatra. If you're not using it, I strongly encourage you to use that. DG Yatra can be used for facial-based onboarding. Oil and gas, drilling, exploration, multiple of those areas, manufacturing, predictive part, robotics, of course, are there, and of course, life science. My favorite area, life science. I'm not an expert there, but I'm doing some projects there as well. Personalized medicine, genomics, right? Medical imaging, diagnosis, all of them can be done with AI, looking at the pattern. One of the PhD student was, I was a coach for the PhD student in one of the university in Mumbai, Somaiya University, and I was actually helping her understand the data and then predict when the lifestyle disease the person is going to have. And there are other areas on functions, right? Supply chain, HR, I talked about already, risk assessment and everything, and finance, marketing, of course, social media insights, understanding those chatbot, campaign optimization, personalized advertising, okay? And of course, chat GPT, we cannot forget on the technology side of it. There are a lot of auto code generation are also coming up in the technology area. So a lot of those innovation are happening across the globe, and the more and more important for us as a leader to be able to do that. So this slide is the last slide. We'll take questions after this. We as a leader, how can we be ready? And one thing I see, which is the weakest area for most of the leaders, is the LinkedIn. I'm a professional coach. I coach several CXOs in the industry to be able to move to the next level, or even VPs to move to the CXO level. The biggest challenge over there is personal branding. I see some people create their own websites. Useless. LinkedIn, okay? LinkedIn is the best place for personal branding, right? And you don't have to purchase the package, by the way. Free membership I'm talking about, right? Focus on number of connections. The more number of connections you have is better. Why? Because you want to learn what's happening in the industry around data science, around your domain, around the innovation part of it. You need to read articles. But if you have good number of connections, good senior people in the connection, you definitely read some good articles also, right? So have more number of connections so that your profile can bubble up higher, and then read articles around those. Comments. I see a lot of people reading articles, but they don't do anything after reading articles. 3 things you should do. First, like after you read the article. Second, comment. Write down, don't write thank you, good job, congratulations, all useless. Write down the comment which is a little bit meaningful, saying that, yeah, thank you for doing this. I like this comment. I like this part. use hashtags and everything. That comment will give you more visibility. And third, post with your response or with your comments. So you repost it, with your comments. You do that part, so your visibility even increases more. All these things are activity, and wishing them a happy birthday, wishing them work anniversary. All of those are part and parcel of those. That's your LinkedIn. Your brand image increases. You'll be surprised to see you can start getting invites from Economic Times. You start getting invites from some of the industry forums and everything to start speaking. Otherwise, how do Economic Times know that I exist? Okay, a lot of those happening on LinkedIn. How did Mukesh Ambani know that I exist in the world? Again, he contacted me through LinkedIn, right? The other parts are ideas. As a leader, it's our responsibility to foster that environment for ideas. If leaders are themselves not trained, how would other people do it? I got my MTech about 4 years back. People are asking me, why are you doing MTech now? I said, no, I want to set examples. So after I did my MTech, 5 members of my team did MTech from my team as well. How things work. Do you understand how things work? If somebody asks you how ChatGPT works, would you be able to answer? If somebody asks you how Google Map works, would you be able to answer? It's important for you to know and understand how things work. And try to being more and more data focused. Okay, look at the opportunities around you. Come up with the ideas and all. Okay, R&D. R&D, the word research and development. Research, the mindset of research. Okay, hackathon, go to Kaggle and see, read some articles, read some GitHub code, do some experiments, do some POC. Okay, and again, share your knowledge. And last but not the least, how do you lead? How do you lead data culture? How do you bring those part to the organization with a strategy? Okay, how do you set a vision for the organization? How would you be able to roll out the goal, and ultimately, how would you make the change happen? So all those things are part and parcel of a leader who will embrace this part and make it live for you, right? So today you should be able to see any application and say, hey, this is a great idea, this application I implemented. Let me use that to build something else. Okay. One last example I'll give before I take questions. Please put your questions in Q&A section. I'll take all of the questions. I was invited by Indian Navy in Jamnagar to deliver a workshop for the officers. So I went there and I was trying to create an presentation, but then I found out that there are lots of ideas and all. But more important, it was how can I do a crossbreed of ideas. So some of the ideas I learned in marketing, I was able to bring that into the Indian Navy defense. It was to detect intrusion in our territory. Okay, how do you detect those parts? We try to use triangulation, we try to use clustering technique, we try to use some of those parts, and we were able to find those out as well, right? So a lot of learning when you read some articles, you'll be able to use it at other places. Okay, with that, I'll pause here. I'll take questions now. Akash, you want to start? Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Mukesh, for this very insightful discussion. I personally was very interested in this, this aspect of how you figured out the junk email detection at Outlook, and probably we can chat a little more on that later on. But
sure.
Yes, guys, feel free to ask your questions on the Q&A box. I think let's have one single space for having all the questions over there so that we can focus and answer all your questions. So anyone who has also asked their question already on chat, would request you to put them again on Q&A. All right.
Yeah. So I see first question from Sahil. How do you select a company like where we want to apply? So Sahil, if you go to LinkedIn and you would notice there are right now 79,000 jobs in India in data science. 79,000. It's a good number. So what I would suggest, in fact, let me do it live. It will be very interesting. Let me just do it live. Okay. So I am on LinkedIn now. Okay. So data scientist jobs. Okay. In India. So I think I was doing an experiment. Let me see. Is it India or not? Right now, it's United States. Let me change it to India. India search. Oh, it's increased now. 80,500. It was 79,000 yesterday, by the way. Okay. 80,500 jobs are there. Now, how do you select a company, right? Of course, you can start going one at a time and then see. So you cannot go all 80,000. the thing would be, first thing would be, is this company, look at the website and all, are they talking about data? Are they talking about AI? Would you think will be culture in that? See how many people are working there, right? So if I go to this company, I want to see this company, I'll click on this part. I will go to this company. It's a Nagpur-based company. I will go there. And if my preference was to Nagpur, probably I'll go there. But right now, my preference is only Mumbai. So I will only look for Mumbai companies. So I'll go there and then select, shortlist those and keep shortlisting those until I get the point that, yeah, these are the 10 company, 20 company I want to apply. Always remember, when you apply, the ratio is 1 in 200. Out of 200 profile they get, 1% will get selected. But when they approach you, the ratio is 1 in 100, 1 in 10. 1:10, which means they will approach 10 people and 1% will get selected. That's why there's a phrase in Hindi, right? खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना, आगे कुछ नहीं आता. In English, you make yourself so strong that people come knocking your door. Okay? So which means if your profile is strong, how would that work? Let me show you. Let's say if I am looking for data scientist, I as a recruiter, I as a hiring manager, I as a CXO in the company, I'll search for data scientist. There are 617,000 data scientists. No, I don't want them. I want people in Mumbai or Bangalore or Pune. 6,800 data scientists. Too many. I cannot contact all of them. So I'm going to come look for first connection. I have 125 people who are data scientists who are in my connection. More likely, I'll contact each one of them. If you are in connection with some of the leaders, if you are in connection with some of the recruiters, your chance of getting a message from them is very, very high. On average, I get one request, one opportunity a month, where people will say, hey, Mukesh, are you available for a job change? Of course, senior position, they are less. That's why I mean less. But if your profile is strong, you probably will be getting 5 to 10 requests per month. That's how fast it is. That's how powerful this is. Okay. So I hope you gave you a little bit broader answer, but hope that was helpful. Coming back here.
Just one request to everyone, if you have any personal level questions, like, your background is X and is this suitable to you and things like that, I would request you to connect actually with counselors at Advancer. They can have a bigger, longer discussion with you and help you out on that. As of now, this Q&A session will last for probably around 10-15 minutes more. So would request your questions to be more pertinent towards the topic itself.
Okay. Thanks, Akash. So next question is from Vikas. When lots of spam mail come, you created the problem for Microsoft, they created the solution. Fine. For Indians, climate change, poor education system and social security, all of those, can we use data science in handling these issues? It's already happening, by the way. I'm very active in this area as well. I've definitely sent a lot of letters to the HRD ministry also. But one request I would have for each one of you, right? If you're putting a statement which is poor education system, the only question I'm going to ask back to the person, and don't worry because I'm not going to ask you right now. The only question I ask back is, how many lectures have you delivered so far in India? Okay. If your answer is less than 10, so I don't think you have a right to say that part. Which means the education system is what it is, right? I still believe the education system is good because both of my son and my daughter, we moved from US to India 12 years back. Both of my son and daughter graduated in India from Indian colleges. So definitely, I still believe the education system is good. May not be the best, but it's still good. But yes, data science can be used very effectively. I built so many data science solutions for so many colleges. We're able to see and improve the quality of education, looking at the historical data. We were looking at the marks people are getting, looking at the subject, how they respond, and so on and so forth. A lot of this can be done. Climate change also can be done, and social security can be done. Government of India is already using some of those. Several of my students from multiple institutes are now working for Indian government, and they are in touch with me. During COVID, the whole supply chain of the vaccine in the first 2 rounds was done by one of my students, and I was actively helping him for doing that. So India government is using it. During Notebandi, when this was all the people were asked, the scrutiny happened and everything for the cash movement and everything, even that part was done by using data science. So a lot of data science is already used. We may not be seeing that, they may not be as much promoting it, but we are using that part. The DigiYati is a great example. Aadhaar card is a great example. UPI is a great example of being used there actively. Okay. if this can be done, of course, the government will own it, but normally government will not own it. It will be owned by some private entity or some other entities. Is it necessary to be a BTech from engineering or background to data scientist? Riazuddin, that is not the case. My experience, I've been doing this for 12 years in India. 70% of the people I have seen or met are from non-engineering or non-computer science background. Yes, data science is for everybody. In fact, we see better success rate of people from a non-computer science or engineering background. Why? Because we need domain knowledge also. While the engineering background, I am a computer engineer, can be good at writing programs, but the domain knowledge comes from the domain knowledge. So it is not a requirement at all. Yes, you will be learning Python or R, and yes, you will be writing code. So yeah, some coding has to be required, but doesn't mean that you cannot do it. It's a simple coding, Python coding, by the way. Can you suggest some website or tool that will help me get more knowledge? There are lots of websites and tools available. I would suggest get some basic understanding about what data science is. I hope today's session would have given you the understanding. But more important, after this is done, go and do some course so that you get full understanding about it and with a certificate. Which project is good for data analysis and not data scientists? Like what type of project company expect from the candidate? Sahil, if the companies are in the early stage, or even for data scientists, the early stage projects are data analysis project, right? So definitely, it's not just about data science. Even every data scientist is a data analyst first, and only then they can become data scientists. You cannot just become data scientist overnight. Okay, so data analysts have the skills. The course usually talk about those skills, so don't worry about that. Project company will expect from the candidate, you should be able to identify patterns. You should be able to write a decent queries in SQL if you are going for pure data analyst roles. But if you're directly jumping into data scientist, that's fine too, because you'll be able to write even better queries in Python than what you used to write in SQL. Last question from Samiksha. What's the future of generative AI in business critical decision? Companies rely on generative AI for a very critical decision making and predictive analysis for the business solution. Samiksha, I've been using generative AI for almost 1.5 years. While ChatGPT is recent phenomena, about 6 months and 10 days back, it was launched. Organizations have started using it. I've also seen several organizations already banned it also, right? The way the Jain AI model was used, it is one of the best innovation ever, I would say. People say this is the best innovation after the atomic bomb. Okay, so this part, of course, not atomic bomb. I was saying nuclear bomb, nuclear innovation, whatever that is. The generative AI part is a lot more powerful. We need to understand and tame it to be working for us for the business values. Now, generative AI, just generating content is not good. Like, for example, media example I gave, right? If I can give all the hundreds of scripts of certain good movies and I ask them to create a new script, chances are it will create a very good script where you can have it. The person who have already died and taking the voice sample from the historic part and creating a new voice altogether, that could be another interesting way, right? So opportunities are there for generative AI if you're using it for the right purpose. You can always use it for, can you please rephrase my email? That's a very small use of generative AI. So the opportunities are there. It's just a matter of, I don't think it will be used for business critical decision making. It is wrong way to do it. I'm also regularly partnered with the Padma Shri Dr. D.B. Phatak from IIT Bombay, and we always talking about it that we need to draw a line. Critical business decision has to be done by humans in association with AI. Even the visa processing solution I created, it does not, it's not pure, doesn't take automatic decision. It does require human intervention to be able to just say yes or no also, after it gives a recommendation 80% good, 85% good, 90% good. Okay. Average salary of data scientists, Ashish, it all depends. But the thumb rule is, it is 40% higher than a typical a software engineer doing the similar job. That's what the typical trend in the industry is. 40%. Again, some cases it might be lower or higher. For example, if you are a software engineer in a service company, you're talking about 4 lakh rupees salary, starting salary. For a good company, it will another like decent company 6 lakh something. If you are going for Microsoft, it could be 20 lakhs also. So the range is very, very high. But instead of looking at the range, look at the percentage higher than that as typical role in the similar domain. That's how I would say. There are salary reports available in the market also, which you can see. Fine. I think I've answered all the questions,
Yes, there are
Atash.
actually few more questions in the chat window. Would you have
Okay.
some time, 2-3 minutes more
Sure,
to answer
sure,
them?
sure. I'll probably extend it by another 5 minutes, and then I'll take some more questions.
Yeah.
I'm taking those questions from chat window now. Okay, what is the data scientist analysis? I've already covered. What can we do in chemical business? Vivek, in the chemical industry, some of this part is the AI can be used is to assess the purity, okay, and also look at it some of the angle which is the humidity and the temperature and all, how much that they affect its viscosity and so on. Also, this chemical, right, when it going through certain cycles and all, how old it is and all. A lot of those things nowadays can be done using AI part of it. I'm not from chemical industry. I'm not an expert, but I am aware of that because I was on one of the project. I was an advisor, and I was able to see some of those. Voice recognition related innovation will be really amazing. Definitely, as I mentioned, one of the thing I implemented for a telecom company in India. I cannot name them. It was tonal analytics, the tone, right? We're able to find out whether the tone is good or bad, not just translating what is being spoken. If you try a Microsoft Word and use dictate functionality, you'll be able to speak and it will write it down. But try to use emotion, try to use different languages or change your tone, it will not understand. Like, for example, a tone could be something like this. Yeah, right. Okay, which means I'm affirmative. I'm saying yes. Compared to I'm saying, yeah, right. That's a sarcasm, right? We know the difference between the two, right? So this part can also be understood by voice recognition. So, Tamin, good points here. Are open source software like Python safe? Vivek, open source is safe, but yes, a lot of open source are not safe also. So I would always say, recommend if you are doing this, you take permission from the organization. Organization have a listed software which are there, right? Open source, there's a reason it's open source, and there's a reason which Microsoft products and all which are paid. They charge for it because they spend a lot of time making it secure and so on and so forth. Yes, a lot of viruses do come from open source. So if you are using any open source, I strongly recommend using the tools like White Source or Black Duck to be able to assess that on a regular basis to do that part. But yes, Python is the most used language in the world today. So it is secure. So don't worry about that. Okay. But again, take permission from your IT department. Okay. I'm taking the next question. I'm in academics, but doing data science analyst course to explore myself in that decision, correct? Monali, I have seen several academic people also moving into data science. The path for you would be whatever you're teaching, it's good. Start teaching data science in your college. Start doing some project with the students. Engage corporates. In fact, I have done so many professors internship with me. So many people have done internship with me, professors. So engage them, engage with some other industry leaders, do some internship with them, and then slowly move into like a trainer role in an organization, and then into data science. It's a 2 to 3 years journey, which is perfectly fine because people will be hesitant to give you a role, and even if they give you a role, they'll not give you the good salary, right? Because if you are in academia, how much you can translate. So do this path, and then you'll be able to find that. Next question I'm taking. 1 second. I think I've covered all the questions.
Yeah, I think all the questions
All the
are.
questions are done, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I just wanted to also quickly just share my screen and showcase this specific program, which will help
Yeah.
everyone here. All right. Just give me a second. So this is a program delivered by Advancer, which is called the Executive Program in Data Science for Managers. And this program has been specifically created for a lot of people like you who want to, understand what data science is, how data science can be used in organizations, probably want to implement data science in your own organization or lead data science teams or projects, this is a program which is specifically meant for you. So in this program, one of the major key factors is that you actually don't need to know programming or even learn programming. We are going to teach you what exactly is data science, how it can be used in business, how to convert a business problem into a data science problem and a data science solution into a business solution without any kind of coding or programming involved, or even in-depth knowledge of mathematics, right? So do explore this program on www.advancer.in, and this will definitely help you going forward. To conclude, first of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Mukesh Jain. It was a very, very insightful session, sir, and thank you so much for sparing your time and helping out a lot of the attendees here in terms of giving them the basic understanding of data, giving them the basic understanding of how data science is being used in organizations, and especially how you have used it. And I think they will have a significant lot to take away from this session. And I'd like to also thank all the attendees for sparing your time. And I do hope that, there's a lot of takeaway and a lot of thought process that you will be doing post this session. And, the world of data science, we are today living in the era of data science and AI. Over the last 6 to 9 months, significant changes have happened across the world. Everyone is now talking about data science and AI. Every industry, every business is going to get impacted in some way or the other. And it is best for all of us to be on top of this, to be knowledgeable about this, rather than, be sidelined by it. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone, and see you soon. Thank you, Mukesh.
Thank you.